What is poppin', y'all? We are back with another episode of Thoughts and Takes. This last week has been merrily rolling along with Christmas down the drain. Jacob, what's poppin', man? How was your Christmas?
Pretty great, man. It's always a good time to spend the holidays with the family, the friends. You got football, basketball, and a lot of good food, man. Let me tell you, I'm stuffed. I've been eating like complete crap these few days, but let me tell you, man, I
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
love
been
it.
bad. It's been bad, man.
How
I
about
got it.
you?
It was good. I've been eating a lot too. I was laying around, running around. Just the problem with the holidays is I drink too much. That's the problem. Every time I go somewhere, it's just somebody like offers you this or that, and I think it's rude to say no if you go to somebody's house and they're
I
like, "You
agree.
want this?" And you're like, "No, I'm okay." That means a sign of untrustworthiness. And I trust these people's houses that I'm going to. So I got to try the alcohol and whatnot. So I got back in the gym a little bit today.
You know,
So
it's crazy. I actually tried eggnog for the first time this Christmas, and I've always been kind of grossed out by the concept of it. At least just the name, like eggnog, is like
yeah,
sounds kind of nasty, but it's actually pretty good,
yeah,
man.
really.
Pretty.
I think I've had it once before, but I guess I haven't came back. I don't know. They don't sell eggnog at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, so I don't know. But I hope y'all at home had a blessed holidays as well. We got the New Year's coming around the corner. Get your resolutions out. I start mine early, but I'm trying to get the things going as we see fit. Well, before you got any resolutions?
My resolution so far has just been to grow as a human, obviously keep bettering myself. I'm going to be so cliche and say the gym because obviously I'm a bigger dude, but at the same time, staying consistent in the gym is so difficult. So staying on that grind is definitely something we're going to be looking to push for this year. But the biggest one, dude, is definitely just pushing out content, pushing out content with you on my own platform and just growing as a human. 2025 has been very good to me. I'm sure you've had a good 2025 as well. And we want to continue that momentum into 2026. It's almost here. And I'm just so excited for the future, DeAndre. That's
Yeah,
all I got to say.
same. I'm excited. The content's been good this year. I pushed myself this past year to post more. I said that last year, post more. You got to post more, and then this year, I got to post even more. It's just gonna be more and more, and then I don't even know when it's gonna slow down. That's not for me to be determined quite yet. Are you kind of like a milestone type person? You're like, oh, I want to hit this at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
it's very loose, I would say, because my goals really just are, I would say, more like end goal driven than per se in little increments. Like in terms of content creation, still working on my end goals for that. But in terms of my work, I did hit a lot of milestones this year, especially in sports production. So I'm looking to continue that as a creator and
Tell us the milestones. I want to hear them.
some of the milestones I had. I worked a full college football season, a full 12 games between the University of Louisville and the University of Kentucky out in the glorious state of Kentucky, doing a variety of roles, which was one of my milestones. As I'm a huge football guy. I was able to get a ton of work with some AAA teams out in Kentucky and a bunch of other Division One schools doing stuff in sports production. I also was able to grow my platform as a creator, being on House of Highlights and meeting you. Besides that, I would say getting, living by myself for the first time, having my own place. I
Oh,
got a cat
first
this year. I'm
timer.
now a cat owner. I'm now a cat dad.
Okay.
It's been a very successful year. A lot of ups, also a lot of downs, but you got to take the downs as they come and learn to grow from them. You
Facts,
know?
man. Facts. That's what's up.
Anyways, so
That's
we're here and we are on this glorious call in a glorious night where I don't know what the weather is up by you right now, but currently it is, yep, it is disgusting here. Just
terrible, man.
utterly terrible. But we're nice and warm in this space, so
It's
we're
terrible,
here.
man. Yeah, well, yeah. We warm. I got a heater behind me too, so it's cold without the heater.
Nice and
But
toasty. There you go.
yeah, exactly. I got the fireplace on as a backdrop on my TV, but we gonna heat it up with the Christmas day, starting with the NFL slate of Week 17. This used to be the last week of the season a few years ago.
Used to be, but now we got a week 18 ahead of us. And before we talk about what that looks like, because this is weirdly a very important week 18 this year, especially for the AFC North, and I'm sure for a few other conferences. Oh, AFC North, the NFC South, very important weeks coming up. But week 17 was such a weird one, DeAndre. We had the Christmas games, which is what we're going to start with here. And to start off with the very interesting, very first time Netflix has ever had a football game on their platform, at least to my knowledge, it was the Washington Commanders versus the Dallas Cowboys. Completely useless game because the Cowboys might be on the onside looking in. I'm not sure if they're eliminated yet, but there's pretty much no chance of them getting into the playoffs. And they're looking to possibly move on from Eberflus as a DC. But that game, Dak Prescott has had a great year, and I do like Dak Prescott. I think he has a great story. I think that Dak, he really just has made everyone around him look good. He's made the Cowboys go from a terrible team to, I would say, a mediocre team, which is a pretty big jump. And it's not his fault that the Cowboys have to deal with Jerry Jones. Dak has made George Pickens into a top 5 receiver stats-wise.
Yeah.
And he still has CeeDee Lamb. He's turned Jake Ferguson into a pretty much an all-pro tight end this year. But the narrative of this game wasn't exactly how the Cowboys are great, which, by the way, they won by a score, 30-23 against the Commanders. The Commanders have had a complete train wreck of a season compared to their amazing push in the playoffs last year. Really just taking it. Didn't they make the AFC Championship?
Or NFC Championship.
Yeah. That's extremely impressive for a team like Washington, where they've just been in a complete rut for the past since the 80s. And
they've won a Super Bowl in the 90s with Doug Williams.
Oh, did they?
They did.
I thought they haven't been good since the 80s. Well, I've been correct on that.
It's okay. I'm here to be the historian. I'm a big NFL historian. I used to just watch NFL films all day, every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they've been a shell of themselves.
Exactly, but this year, and they've been a shell of themselves this year, Jaden Daniels has not been healthy. Getting rid of Brian Robinson was a complete horrible judgment call by the front office. I don't know what they were thinking there. Bill, Jacoby Crosby, I don't even know how to say his last name. It's very, very hard to pronounce.
Just call him Bill, man. We just call him Bill.
We call him Bill. Bill actually had a great day. He had 22 fantasy points, but the stat line itself, here, I'm actually going to pronounce his name correctly now because, I want to.
Krosky Merritt or something.
It should be.
We mispronouncing your name, my brother. I'm sorry. You
I'm
got
so
two last
sorry.
names. That must mean you got good.
All right.
Jacory
Krosky Merritt, Mr. Bill. He had 11 carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. This guy's been in a slump all year since the beginning. He had that one pop-off game, and then the Commanders were posting about him, being like, Bill Nye the Science Guy, this guy's a beast. Complete dud for most of the year. But then he goes into, from that game, and he just completely kills it. And I love to see that from him. That running back room is so weird right now with Nichols and Rodriguez, and I just think that he's trying to solidify himself as a one. He definitely has the talent to do it, but this team has just been a complete and utter train wreck. On the Dallas side of things, Javonte Williams got hurt. I just don't know if he is out current. I don't remember what the injury was. I actually didn't watch this game too much just because out of the Christmas games that were on, this was arguably the least important one to me, excluding maybe the Chiefs game, just because they're out of the playoffs.
That Chiefs game was important. What you mean? That game was very important for the morale of the team, man. These morale games are important.
Yes, we could say the morale might have been important, but they're out of the playoffs. I think the morale in Kansas City is pretty low right now, if you ask me.
It is, man. The team moving from Missouri to Kansas, it's
wait. Before we go on further with this, how do you feel about that?
The Chiefs Stadium actually is 15 minutes away from where I grew up. It's right around the corner, basically in the backyard. If I lived in Kansas City, I would feel more of a type of a way, but I live in New York now, I don't feel that much connection to it, to be honest with you. Look, the stadium's moving. There's many reasons behind it. It's not signed, sealed, and delivered. It's just been approved. So, these things could still change, but ultimately, it's a sad move, to be honest. The stadium. So if you aren't familiar with Kansas City and never been there, the Kansas City's Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs play right next door to each other in Independence, Missouri, off the highway. There's nothing else really around it except a gas station, and that's about it. And maybe like some other stores right by it. To like, and then you could walk across a bridge, and then you got like a hotel, and then you kind of got Independence area, which has just not. It's you ain't trying to go shopping over there, just say it the least. It's not the best area, and you got Raytown behind it. And like I said, it's not the best area, and they've had all these years to build up around it because surrounding the stadium is just trees. That's all you got. And I think that Missouri did this to themselves. They could have had time. They had plenty of time to build stuff around it. The city's at fault too because they thought the Chiefs would never leave here. This is the home forever. No, that's not true. People leave when it's time to go. And it kind of sucks for the Missouri residents. That was Missouri's last football team. The Rams left. And now the Chiefs are going to leave. So Missouri no longer has any more pro sports football, major football teams. And it sucks for the fans. Now look, it's like kind of moving. It's 25-minute drive to the new
Yeah.
stadium. So
It's not like a huge difference, but you kind of said it yourself. They no longer have a football team. I mean, they still do technically. I mean, Kansas City has not moved yet, but moving across the border, I mean, that's got to be you got to feel some type of way as a Missouri resident. I mean, you lost the Rams, which I actually still think the Rams should be in St. Louis personally. Like, I think LA needs a football team, but like, so does St. Louis. I think St. Louis is a huge sports city, and I think that it was a great culture fit. But hey, at least you got the Battlehawks.
but the Rams did the same thing. They didn't build up the city around the stadium. That's why they ended up. I mean, there's other reasons too. It was the Kroenkes that pushed the team out because he wanted to move him to LA. But say had St. Louis built up the stadium. I don't know if you've been to Atlanta Braves baseball stadium, but
I'm
that
not.
thing is nice. They got like nice. They got like a downtown, a district down there where there's bars. There's a brand new hotel. There's new amenities. Same thing with Atlanta. All Atlanta sports teams. To be honest, they built that city up from nothing. Same with the Cowboys when they built Jerry's World. They built a whole bunch of other hotels across. They built a downtown district, so if you go to a Cowboys game, you can go out right around the corner after
Yeah,
that too
you
in
got
Fort
Texas
Worth.
Live.
Yeah, it's lit, and so I think that's a great blueprint to follow. And Kansas City, Missouri in general, just been behind the line. I just think they got comfortable and it was time to go. So it sucks for the residences that lived close by. Residents, I said residences, residents that live close by. But ultimately, you just got to drive a little further down the street. The place that it's moving to is really nice. There's a Kansas Speedway there where they drive NASCAR. They got a whole bunch of shopping centers already. All of it's very, very new, like in retrospect of things. They have the Kansas City soccer MLS soccer team, Sporting KC, over there as well, and it makes sense. They have land as well, so it is what it is. And you just got to get in your car and spend a little bit more gas money to get to the game. But I'm not too big on the whole. I used to be growing up because we were raised like this in America, is to have state pride and all these things. But as my years have came and went, and I'm seeing how the world really works, I think state pride it's not that important. Like, that might sound crazy, but ultimately just think about it. It's not. You have state pride, and that's good to have pride in things, but you don't really control what state you're born in. You don't really control what state you live in growing up. You're just there. And so it's something that it's kind of like picking a sports team to like. You don't really get to pick it. It chooses you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to state pride, are you going to sacrifice your well-being over a state?
There are plenty of people that do, and I see plenty
They are.
here. I will actually, on the contrary, I do have a little bit of state pride. I don't make being from New Jersey my whole personality because I meet
Yes.
too many people that
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
But I will say, being from a state that has a lot to do, that has an interesting story behind it, that is a little more well known, it definitely is something you can use and leverage in a conversation.
Maybe that's just Missouri, honestly. Maybe that's just
Yeah,
me being from
I mean,
Missouri.
it is Missouri. I mean, hey, Missouri has been a great thing. Hey, one of my favorite shows, The Ozarks, was filmed in Missouri. Shout out Wendy Bird. But I mean, I think that
I mean, shout out Ozark, but Missouri ain't really got the best history. If I'm being quite honest,
no,
Missouri
they do not.
we
I mean,
ain't got the.
Missouri's an interesting state though because like you have two big cities, and I mean, yes, Kansas City is technically a split between Kansas and Missouri. Although, and also random note, shout out to Kansas for finally having an NFL team, but that is so random.
We ain't shouting Kansas out.
And
Well,
I think
I
if I am correct, I think St. Louis, part of it's actually in Illinois. Am I
yeah,
right?
that's
Yes.
facts.
Okay.
East St. Louis is in Illinois.
So isn't that kind of like is there any other state that does that? That's kind of unique.
Yeah, I mean, kind of New York and New Jersey to a degree, like a very degree part, as in like the football team only. That's like
Oh,
the
okay.
only degree like
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
putting
Well,
out there.
because I mean
But
the
like,
Jets and the Giants.
but Manhattan and Brooklyn and all the boroughs, those are all different. They're all in one state, but they're okay. That's not splitting a state. We got L.A. I guess that's in California only. We got
See, like you think about it, and you really can't think of many.
there's one like the thing is they're not maybe they're in. I'm just thinking of the city. I guess the state line is whatever because there are different rules when it comes to different states or whatever. Because legal betting just got legalized in Missouri, like in December.
Like
So
sports betting or
sports
like
betting,
full.
sports betting.
Okay.
So you had
Oh,
to
yeah.
drive over to the border. Everyone drive over to the border to make their bet and then go back home. I would do that when I go home, so I'm glad I got to do that no more. Um, but yeah, look, it is what it is. Kansas City, it's always gonna be Kansas City Chiefs, regardless. It's Kansas City, so the
Yeah.
name ain't gonna change. It's just the place, and we gonna move on. I know I
Moving
went
on
on a
to
tangent, but yeah, shout out the Cowboys, man. I saw 3 of their games this year: the Eagles, the Jets, and the Lions. And the Cowboys lost against the Eagles. The Cowboys beat the Jets, and the Cowboys lost against the Lions. So I seen them in the good and the bad and they're ugly. They're mid. The Chiefs, season's over. Season's been over. Mahomes, ACL torn. Time to move on next year. I'm not sad about it. I'm excited about the future because we had a great past. Enjoy what you have. Don't be spoiled with what you've been given.
And
You
that's
can
a good way to
hashtag
think
that.
about the Chiefs, as they have been one of the most dominant teams in recent NFL history. And
Dominant.
I think it's it's really funny. A lot of people love to hate on the Chiefs. I'm not one of them because here's the thing with the Chiefs. The
It's
Chiefs
good.
are the modern day Patriots, and before the Patriots, it was another team because everyone hates the team that wins too much. And truthfully, I think this is much needed for Kansas City. Like New England having their success, I mean, they're still in Boston, so they still had a lot of history. But Kansas City, I mean, the Royals are a relatively historic franchise, but besides that, the Chiefs have always been pretty mid. And now that they've had their run, they've been very good. I love that they've been dominant because the city needs it. And
Yeah.
it
Need
gives
it too
people a
bad.
reason to visit Kansas City just besides Kansas City itself with
Facts.
with the football boom and how big it is. But let's talk about this game a little bit. We see our final score here
I
is
was actually at
24.
this game too, so
How were you?
Yeah, I did go to the game last minute. My flight got canceled, man. So I was like, "What am I gonna do? My flight got canceled. I guess I'll go to the game."
You paid $100. How much did you
Well,
pay for tickets? I mean, with the Chiefs.
I didn't have to pay for the tickets, man. I got plugs, man. I got the plug. Shout out Kansas City,
But
Missouri.
then let me ask you this: you were there, you watched it. What were your thoughts from what you saw? Even with the Chiefs eliminated from the playoffs, there's always good in how a team plays, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah,
Excluding today
no,
with the New York Jets, they fucking shit the bed.
yeah, it was nothing good against to take away from the game, except I guess a higher draft pick for the Jets. But for the Chiefs, I went to the game and this was the news. We just talked about it. Obviously, the Chiefs moving and whatnot. So that was the big hot topic on everyone's mind. I think it was announced the day before Christmas. And getting there, we knew Mahomes wasn't playing. We knew Gardner Minshew wasn't playing, and we knew Rasheed Rice wasn't playing. We knew a lot of players ain't playing, And so we got up there expecting a blowout, and the Chiefs put up a good fight. Travis Kelsey, might have been his last home game. Who knows? We'll see. I think it is, personally speaking. He just, he had 30 something receiving yards. Didn't have the greatest of games, but also third string quarterback. So what do you expect? But the game was close throughout. The Chiefs, they were, it was a divisional game. They were fighting. They were fighting for their Missouri State pride, and they gave the Broncos a run for their money. They definitely had a chance to win the game at the end, at least tie it to go to overtime, but they faltered. But honestly, people weren't in bad moods leaving the game because it was like we already kicked out the playoffs. The Broncos are number one seed in the playoffs right now, and we're just trying to enjoy our Christmas. That's pretty much what the sentiment was. I mean, I talked to people before and after the game. Nobody, no, and actually, maybe I should. There was a crazy scene after the game. I guess I could show it on here. Since we have this is exclusive, let me pull it up. But while I'm talking about it, there was during the Chiefs game. I think what I took from it was that the season's over. We gave it our best, and I mean, just enjoy the times that we have here. There wasn't, the Broncos were favored to win, and we covered the spread. I think it was like 13 and a half.
Yeah.
But it wasn't cool. It was very nice day out, 70 degrees, and that was about it. But go ahead.
70 degrees?
It was nice. I was shocked. That's why I wasn't mad about staying in
Holy
Kansas
hell,
City.
it's like 20 right now here.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
it was crazy. What'd you think about watching the game?
I did watch it, and I didn't think the Broncos looked that good. I think that, and we talked about this last episode, but I am fully for the Jaguars at this point. And they won today. We'll get to that. But the Jaguars, I think, are the team to look out for, and I mean, there's the Patriots too, but an easy schedule. I will talk more about that later. But this Broncos squad really looked vulnerable here. I mean, my guy Boverthrow Nix he did solid, but I didn't think he was anything to write home about. He had a pick. He went 26 or 38, had 182 yards, and a touchdown. But it felt like R.J. Harvey kind of did most of the work for this team this game, and I like, that Broncos defense is amazing. But giving up 13 to an out of the playoffs Chiefs without Mahomes, without Minshew, without Rashee Rice, which by the way we're gonna take his driving antics out of this. I think he's one of the most promising young receivers in the league. That guy's an animal, and I love his rushing upside too when they give him those jet sweeps. But I look at these stats. Cortland Sutton wasn't good. Like, this wasn't a great game for the Broncos. They just kind of barely scraped by. And this is going to tie into my point later. But it felt like a lot of these games on Christmas, I mean, 2 out of 3 of these games were really just kind of ugly. Like, just not really good from both sides of the ball. I mean, like, yes, the Cowboys won, but it was an uglier game. Kind of a shootout. I mean, this Broncos-Chiefs game was just not the best. It felt kind of like a defensive battle. We'll get to the Lions-Vikings. That's the fun one. That one is.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Lions fans, but
Definitely.
kind of not. We'll get to that. But
Hey, but not to interrupt, but I got this. So crazy thing happened after the game. Chiefs
Let's see it.
Broncos fans were hostile. It was getting real hostile, and definitely people were crashing out. If I can find, here we go. Perfect. I love this app, man. Can you
let's
see?
take a look.
Can you see the video?
Let me.
Okay, we can see the video, right? You can see it.
I can see the video.
All right, y'all. Just brace yourself. Like, look, I'm interviewing people after the game, and something's going on in the background, as you'll see. I'm just gonna play it, man.
Oh my dude. Holy hell. Dude.
It was getting crazy.
Okay, so let's break down this clip. I mean, clearly the dude in the Broncos jersey had a hunger in him he needed to quench, but who started that fight? Can we get a replay?
So we can go back. Look, it's getting crazy. We got freeze frames going on, only here exclusively on Thoughts and Take.
And super slow-mo.
Yeah, it was getting lit. As we was talking, I just kept seeing something in the back. My head was turned half the interview, and they was going at it. It was arguing and whatnot, and it was getting.
So,
he got a lick in right here.
as we
Our
see
man's.
here, and this
I
was
can
my,
slow-mo this.
I was gonna say this earlier, but DeAndre, my thinking with you Chiefs fans is that I thought you guys were okay with this season because yes, it's a losing season, but you've been doing so well the past 2 years, so I figured you just kind of let it slide, like okay, we had a bad year, but we're still the Chiefs, we're great. But this guy right here, this fan was not thinking that. He was angry as all hell Oh my God! Just
Uh,
straight up sucker punched this poor Bronco. I mean, hey, he
he
could have,
got him in the ribs, coach.
he
He
could,
got
he
him.
could have, he could have been chirping him for all I know. But I mean, this just feels like complete salt. Like I smell the salt from this Chiefs fan. This
Oh
guy
yeah.
probably had one too many Miller Lights or whatever beer they're serving there, and he was super salty. His Lord and Savior Mahomes was not playing. I mean, this is just a tragedy for this Broncos fan. I mean, you go into this game. Okay, Broncos fans, and I mean, you said last time that Broncos are a relatively close team because it's the next closest team to Kansas City. But like, I did not think it was on this dude's bingo card to get into a fight, let alone with a Chiefs fan. This
Well, not on Christmas, coach. You
no.
gotta wait. Watch this though. Watch this. We almost there.
Was that the dude you were just interviewing?
No.
Dude.
Told you it was getting crazy on Christmas in Kansas City. Hold on, he got mollywopped on that one. Hold on. Yeah, you could hear that. You could hear
Wait.
it. It was loud.
That's a wait. Is that a Chiefs fan fighting a Chiefs fan?
It is. It's going bad in Kansas
Dude,
City. I'm
friendly
telling you, man.
fire.
It's getting bad in Kansas City, coach. It's definitely we crashing out on the
I
highest
think
level.
this is a sign Andy Reid needs to go. The fans are fighting each other. It is becoming a hostile environment. A city change will not change this outcome. The Kansas City Chiefs are officially down bad. I was not expecting this. I had a completely different view such as seconds ago, but this video has completely changed my mind. The Kansas City Chiefs, they need to change it out, man. Travis Kelce's retiring or get him the hell out. Something's got to change.
Kansas City, we got to get it together. We got to do better, man. We can't be crashing out after the game, man. Especially when I'm around, I'm gonna record it. Like I'm
I
gonna
mean, dude,
record it.
that was like right time, right place. That's a viral video. Like,
Look, I'm debating on posting it somewhere because you can't post that stuff on TikTok, I believe, or they take it down. And YouTube. YouTube restricts those things. I don't know why. Like they restrict. Look, sorry, let me not say restrict. They frown upon TikTok more so. YouTube, you can post whatever you want, but and Instagram, clearly. Twitter don't care, but TikTok does care. TikTok, if you post on TikTok, you'll know TikTok does not play around with anything. Like they will plot you and take it off real quick. So that is not going on TikTok, but best believe it's going somewhere. It's already on Twitter, and I'll probably
IG
drop the
Reels.
whole. Yeah,
IG Reels.
it's going on
It'll
IG
put like the
Reels,
little,
coach.
it'll put the sensitive watch warning post up. It'll just be a Chiefs fan getting clocked by a Chiefs fan.
Oh, look, they gonna be mad when they see that online, but too bad. I don't care. But anywho, we
That
go.
right there was the highlight from that game. Let's talk about the final game on Christmas. The Lions Vikings game. What the hell happened, Detroit? We were just talking about 2 weeks ago that they were in the hunt. Like they were in the hunt for the playoffs, and now the Minnesota Vikings are 500 with 9 with Max Brosmer. Oh my God, dude, what the hell happened? Like this is just the NFC North is like the most confusing conference because the identity is so weird. You have the Bears as the top team right now. And I mean, they're playing as we speak, but like the Bears have been solid this year. Caleb Williams has been kind of iffy, but Ben Johnson's been coaching a great team. The Packers have been solid. We'll get to that. I don't think the
Yeah,
Packers are going to do anything in the playoffs.
no,
But
Packers are done.
this is a team. I mean, this is a conference where the teams are pretty good. I mean, there's no team under 500, but Detroit losing to Minnesota, this didn't feel right.
This didn't feel right at all, man. I was shocked. Everyone was. We thought, they got Max Brosmer as their quarterback. Shout out Max Brosmer for getting the
Do
job.
you know what Max Brosmer's stat line was this game? He
I heard
went
he had like
9 for 16 and 51 yards. I feel so bad for Justin Jefferson. I feel
what?
so
Oh my
bad for
gosh.
Justin Jefferson. I mean,
Jesus.
like this is just. I mean, Aaron Jones kind of carried the offense on his back. Which shout out to him playing at his age. But I mean, Jared Goff put up a complete stinker. 2 interceptions, a touchdown, 18 for 29, 197 yards. And, Amon-Ra got hurt. I did see that. I think he left the game early. And this game just People were telling me that the Lions were a team that could potentially make a playoff push. They're hungry for blood. Dan Campbell wants his lick back in the playoffs. They're not making the fucking playoffs now. No
It's a
way.
wrap. It's
I
a
don't
wrap,
think they're
Detroit.
eliminated. I don't, DeAndre. I don't think they're eliminated, but like this
They
feels
are
like
eliminated. They are eliminated.
they are.
Hmm. It's over, man. Detroit. I don't know what happened, man. They let everybody down. They had 2 years ago. They were in the NFC Championship game with the real chance to get to the Super Bowl. And last year they lost in the divisional round. This year they didn't even make the playoffs. It was just like real quick, like a whole roller coaster is happened, and it's sad because who would Detroit's a team where I think everybody can get behind. I mean, I covered them 2 years ago, and I was at all the playoff games, and it was amazing. And it's sad, honestly, because you have a great team. Your defense is terrible, but you have a great offense, and you lost to a backup quarterback like Max Brosmer.
You lost to a quarterback that shouldn't be in the NFL.
Yeah, like he was. Where did he go to college again?
I'll get you that right now. Where did he go
So
to
man,
college?
like y'all, and the thing is, I'm not big on JJ either,
I,
but
I can't stand him.
yeah, I'm not high on him either, and so I think if JJ would have played, y'all might have won, low key. But
I
it's
think he played at Minnesota.
he went to Minnesota. Wow.
Minnesota, like not even a. I mean, they're power four, but they're not like
Well,
Minnesota's.
Minnesota's they formidable.
They're formidable.
They're
I
formidable.
mean, but then again, the Big Ten West is pretty well. Not the Big Ten. What was the Big Ten West? The western part of the Big Ten, excluding now Oregon and honestly just Oregon and maybe Washington, is pretty weak. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that this guy shouldn't be a starting quarterback, and I think this is a argument here. And actually, there's two pieces of media here. Well, not media. Two pieces of information with this game that brings questions to me that I'm going to ask you. First of all, we talked about nine a little bit. JJ McCarthy. I'm not on board. I'm not. Yeah, bust.
I was never on board,
But
coach.
I think this is a very interesting question for you. Who does Minnesota get as their quarterback for next year if it's not JJ McCarthy?
Sam Darnold, get him back. But it's too late. I think he's on a 1 year deal too. Honestly,
Nope.
I low key
I think
think.
Sam Darnold, Sammy D, one of my favorite white boys in the NFL. He got a pretty good contract from Seattle. If I'm not wrong, it's about 3 years, I think.
Oh, 3 years. Yeah, that's a wrap, man. I don't know what to do then, man. I think.
Well, I actually think I know the answer to this. If you care to hear, I think
Well, go ahead, man.
that
What you thinking?
yeah, his contract with Seattle is 3 years, 100 mil. But the Vikings have three options here, and one of them is going to be very expensive. One's going to be expensive, but
Don't say Joe Burrow. Do not say Joe Burrow. You about to say Joe Burrow, ain't you? You
I'm
sound
about
like the
to say
Jets
Joe
fans.
Burrow.
You sound
I
like the Jets fans now.
no, well, I mean, let's be honest here. Would Joe Burrow rather go to an Aaron Glenn-led Jets team that hasn't been relevant in?
You'd be shocked how many Jets fans today said, "But we're bringing Joe Burrow here and Jamar Chase."
Yeah,
You'd be
but I mean,
shocked.
yeah, but Jets fans all have one thing in common: they're delusional. They're delusional as hell and sad. Let's take a look at this objectively here. Two first-round picks, and I think some potentially more capital, maybe a few players. I think Joe Burrow's at the point where if he was to go to another team, it would be the Minnesota Vikings. But that's not realistic. That's a pipe dream for Minnesota fans. I'm just saying it's an option. But here's the more realistic one that I think people aren't talking about. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray could be a Minnesota Viking because, I mean, it's pretty much set in stone that the Kyler Murray experience in Arizona is finished. It's done. They have benched him. They have said they are going to move on from him, I believe.
Oh, they said
I
that?
believe. I believe they said that. I'm gonna double check.
Wow.
I might be getting that mixed up with Tua, but we're gonna.
Wow. I mean, look, Kyler, he's a nice player, but generally speaking, I never wasn't outside of one season he got the Cardinals to the NFC Championship game. I never was really a believer in Kyler. I just didn't think his style of play was sustainable, and he's tiny too. So, you can be a
However,
short quarterback. Shout out Doug Flutie and whatnot, but he's just Doug Flutie didn't get it done, man. He wasn't a Super Bowl champ. So I mean, shout out Doug Flutie, but I just think our expectations of Kyler Murray were too high to begin with because of was he the number one overall pick? No,
Was he?
was he the number one overall pick? There's no way. Was he the number one overall pick? Don't tell me he
While
was.
I'm looking this up, I would like to rescind my statement earlier. The Cardinals have not come out and said
He
they were
was
going
the
to.
number one overall pick.
He was in 2019. I like to rescind my statement from earlier. Kyler Murray, they have not said they're going to release him, but if you look at the signs, it's kind of already there. They're starting Jacoby Brissett, who has been really good, by the way.
He's been all right, but he ain't. I don't think he's been that good leading the Cardinals to 4 wins. I mean, he's been quality backup,
Yeah,
but I think Jacoby Brissett, like he did what people thought he was going to do: be a solid backup, make them not even somewhat respectable, but they still lost all the games. So I think just the Cardinals, they don't have an identity right now. Their future hopes in Kyler is shattered. Marvin Harrison Jr. gone
The
too.
only identity they have is that they're the oldest team in the NFL.
They're the oldest team. I didn't know that.
I think so.
That's
I believe
crazy.
they are.
They do got, Buda Baker, he's up there a little bit, and I guess I didn't know they were the oldest. I thought they were like Trey McBride's young, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s young,
Yep.
Wilson's young.
They're the oldest team in the NFL.
That's crazy. Kyler's not even like that old either. I mean, he's only
Oh,
28.
I meant the franchise is the oldest, not like the
Oh,
team.
the franchise. I thought you meant like the player. I was like, huh?
No. There is one Cardinals player I do want to talk to you about because this brings up a question. You already said his name before, but Michael Wilson has been on a complete tear these past few weeks. He's been someone that, as I've heard, I mean, I'm a huge fantasy guy. I've had him on my dynasty team for about 2 years now, and he's just been on my bench. But I always tell people Michael Wilson is a sleeper, a young player who, if given the right situation, is going to break out. He broke out. Now he's the one. All right. Michael Wilson's great, but here's the question here. What do you think the outlook is for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Man, I'm a guy who gives patience to rookies, and he's not a rookie anymore, man. And so it's kind of like what Cam Newton said about what's his face, Keon Coleman. I think the same thing kind of pertains to Junior. They drafted him to be the number one. I mean, he was a number 4 overall pick, and so he is one of the highest touted receivers coming out of the draft in NFL history. So I don't know what's going on with dude. It's not the bloodline. It's not his size. It's not his strength. I think it's just all up in his head, and that's the hardest thing to get together, to be honest with you. And so when that's gone, where do you go from there? 'Cause it's sad because I thought they were going to be nice with him. I thought they had him. They were like, oh, him, Kyler, they're going to be the next best duo. And I didn't really believe in Kyler in the first place. But I thought Harrison could kind of will them and be not Randy Moss or anything like that, but definitely kind of pull it together and carry the team to some wins. And he's kind of just been a no-show for his career so far. He's had a few good games here and there, but ultimately, has he lived up to the hype? No. And I think they gotta just look at themselves in the mirror and see what they really want to do. And I'm a proponent on picking up quarterbacks, like you said. They could try and make a trade, whatever. But and they're already like it's not like they're not tanking. Their season's over. So I think honestly, find a quarterback you like in the draft. If you don't like one, then you got to build from the inside out. And when it's time to find one that you like, then take that route.
Absolutely. And I mean, the Kyler Murray era has been nothing short of a disappointment. Marvin Harrison Jr. could not fix that. James Conner could not stabilize that. And it just feels like this team could not do anything good. The one thing I will say is they have Trey McBride, who is very promising. They have Will Johnson, who, by the way, I love he was a sleeper coming into this year. He's been phenomenal. I have confidence that the Cardinals defense is actually going to be pretty solid next year. But we take a look at the NFC West as a whole, and it's the most loaded conference in football this year. Last year we had the NFC North. Ironically, it's been the NFC the past 2 years. But have you seen the NFC West, DeAndre? The Rams, Seahawks, and Niners, I think, are all in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're all going to make the playoffs. It's crazy. They all have 10-plus wins. None of them are sneaking in. They're all formidable, too, and any of them can win the Super Bowl. So, or get to the Super Bowl, at least I will say. And
But if
I
there's one out of those three you see making it and winning it, who is it and why?
tough. Who do I want? Would I prefer the Seahawks? That what I prefer. Who do I think will rise above the rest? I don't want to say this team, but if George Kittle comes back, the 49ers, man. I just think they have the experience. I'm a big proponent on experience, and they have all the experience there. Purdy's been in they all been in Super Bowl, and Jared Goff, Stafford has won a Super Bowl, but I just think their defense is so bad. I mean, speaking of defense, as we speak, the 49ers defense is getting torched. Um, but honestly, I think whoever got home field advantage out of those three, and I think Seahawks, if they get home field advantage, Darnold, he learned his lesson in the playoffs last year, hopefully, and I think it's his time to shine. I think that they have the most complete team, and they put together the best season out of the three without any terrible losses per se. And they took care of the Panthers today, and so I just think that whoever gets home field, but I think it's going to be the Seahawks. 49ers, but like I said, I wasn't going to say the defense, but the defense is blowing a casket today, and Kittle's hurt. When it comes to the Rams, I don't trust their defense. It's all about defense, man. It's all about the defenses, man.
Defense wins championships. And all I got to say about my take on this, which I'm with you, I want the Seahawks to win. I love their uniforms. I love that they brought Sam Darnold in and have made him the starter. He's now a Pro Bowler, which some people will debate. However, I think he earned it. He has been very consistent this year. He's put up a few stinkers, but he's been good. In terms of the other two, I think the Rams have an amazing offense. I think their defense has definitely been lackluster, and their defensive backs in particular have been very weak this year, it feels. But listen, here's what I'm going to say about the 49ers before we move on. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, and hey, I love George Kittle. But fuck the 49ers. They're a sorry-ass team, sorry-ass franchise, and for some reason, every time they make it to the Super Bowl that I've seen, I hate it. I can't stand it.
What you got against the 49ers? What you got against the 49ers?
I just don't like the 49ers, man. I've met too many people in my life that I can't stand that are 49ers fans, and they all tell me the same damn thing. Oh, yeah, we're fucking great. Oh, we're in the Bay. Oh, we're great. No, you guys are a terrible fucking team. I hate the 49ers. I don't actually hate the 49ers, but I hate their fans, and I don't want to see them win at all. Give me the Seahawks to take this one to the house. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? I actually think it's very possible, weirdly enough. I think that they're very good this year, and I think anything is possible out of that conference. But let's take a look at some of today's games. We had a few irrelevant games we'll cover very fast. Patriots completely walloped the Jets. I watched that one at a family gathering. And holy crap, man, the Jets are tanking for the first pick. I mean, they're garbage. You said you were there. What were your thoughts?
Terrible, man. There's not too much to say from this game other than they trying to get Mendoza and the Patriots. Drake making 5 touchdowns passes. Look, it was a cold day in New York. It was a sad day for a lot of the fans. There was the few ones that were there left early, and I got some stuff coming up tomorrow that y'all will see from the Jets. But yeah, man, there's not much to say about the Jets-Patriots game. They whopped the floor with them. By the time I got to the game, it was 14-0.
So we actually had 2 games yesterday, 2 extremely important games yesterday. The Texans beat the Chargers in what was a defensive battle. However, I actually thought the Texans were going to win this one from the jump, but the Chargers made it close. I mean, Justin Herbert did not play great, but the Texans have now made the playoffs. I don't think they clinched the division. I'm not. No,
yeah, I don't think so. I don't
think because the Jaguars clinched.
Yeah,
but they're in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on the Houston Texans in this game?
Man, I like the Texans, man. I like the Texans. Stroud, I told you, I'm an experienced type of dude, man. Stroud, he's coming back. They started off kind of slow, but 8 games in a row. Stroud, I think he's got that boxy to get to the Super Bowl. I think it's the Texans' time. Alliteration station. Man, I like the Chargers. I'm done with the Chargers, man. I've never been with the Chargers. I've never been with them. Because I remember when Trevor Lawrence came back to beat them when they were like 20-0 in the playoffs. So I never been with the
That was,
Chargers.
that was with Brendan Staley. That didn't count. That dude was a fucking joke.
But they were still up 20-0. My point.
Yeah.
You know, like
No, Chargers
whatever.
fans have been through purgatory to the max. But you want to talk about experience. I'm actually going to completely agree with you here, but not from the same point of view. Actually, I think Stroud is where the experience problem may lie. This defense, this Texans defense is top 5 in the NFL. Buzzsaw. Just, oh my God. Like, terrorizes offenses, man. Derek Stingley, Al-Aziz Shahir, Will Anderson Jr. That squad fucks shit up. Like, just utter demolition on that side of the ball, man. It is just crazy. I think they have a chance to make it to the AFC Championship. We'll
I
see.
think they got a real chance to get to the Super Bowl. Look, Kyler Murray, C.J. Stroud. I know we ain't talking about him no more. Who?
We're done talking about that motherfucker.
Exactly. Who? C.J. Stroud. Remember his first year, his team started 0-3, and he pushed them to the playoffs, winning a playoff game too. Winning a playoff game. Not a lot of QBs in the AFC have won playoff games in general, and so, Bo Nix ain't won no playoff game. Herbert ain't won no playoff game. Trevor Lawrence, has he won a playoff game?
Yes.
He
I
has.
think.
Maybe one. Maybe one. Drake May ain't won no playoff game.
Well, that
Josh Allen's won playoff games. And, of course, Lamar has won like one playoff game.
No, Lamar's won a few.
He's won a few. But people know him for losing playoff games. And my point is C.J. Stroud is a winner, man. And, like, he is coming into his own. He played Patrick Mahomes, and, he played Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, lost, of course. But I think, with this experience he's had and with this run they've come into, I could see the Texans in the Super Bowl. I have a few teams that I think could make the Super Bowl this year, and Texans are one of them, man. I'm a believer, especially after this win. Like, whatever the Chargers, like, they're a quality team, but they prove that they can get it done on the bright light, I guess, semi-lights on Saturday. And get the job done, and they've been on a roll, and it's hard to stop a team with the steam roll.
Absolutely. And I mean, everything from the Texans this year, actually, weirdly enough, Texans started out this year kind of cold. They didn't really do great in the beginning.
Terrible.
But they've just turned it around, and I think a Super Bowl is not out of the question. I don't personally see it, but I think it's definitely on the table with that defense. Like I said earlier, defense wins championships.
There's no juggernauts this year.
They could do something. But let's look at the other Saturday game, and this one I'm excited about. The Ravens steamrolled the Packers in Green Bay. In Lambeau.
Yeah, man, it's your squad, man. What are you feeling? How you feeling, man?
They put my glorious king Derrick Henry back in the game. Let me just read you his stat line. 36 carries for 216 yards, 4 touchdowns. 4 fucking touchdowns. Why did we put Keaton Mitchell in against who did we lose to the other fucking week?
Yeah, you was mad, coach.
I was really fucking pissed.
I thought the season was over.
I thought the season was over. I mean, I'll get to how I thought we won, but God, I really don't remember who we played last
week. The Ravens, they took care of business, man. I mean, they came out and just popped them in the mouth.
Yeah, anyways, back to that. They put Keaton Mitchell in against the Patriots, and they made me wonder why. But Derrick Henry was back, didn't fumble this game, at least not to my knowledge. I can't see that on the stats here. But he kicked ass, and he carried the team on his back. Zay Flowers also had a touchdown. But I will say this, the Packers, they did not have Jordan Love. The Packers did not have Micah Parsons. But this was a must-win game for the Ravens. The Ravens now need to win against the Steelers next week, which we'll cover after this because, that was a funny game. But they need to beat the Steelers next week, and somehow, some way, the Ravens make the playoffs.
So is Lamar coming back?
I don't think he is. He's questionable, but...
If the Ravens make the playoffs, will he be back for the playoffs?
It's a great question because,
what's
right now...
hurt with him? What is he hurt with?
I think it's his foot, but I could look it up. Lamar injury.
Lamar, if he's back, man, watch out, man. The Ravens, watch out, man.
If he's back, it's his back. He has a back contusion, and he was out. Snoop Huntley played this game, which, by the way, Snoop Huntley, fucking baller, man. He is one of the better backups in my opinion. But the Ravens just looked. Whoa, 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 whoa! What's that face for? You think there's a who's better than Snoop Huntley?
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah,
We ain't gonna talk about Gardner right now,
Mullet
man.
Man is good, but like, I
Nah, look,
mean,
I don't know Snoop Huntley's game like that, so you'll probably know better than me, man.
Snoop Huntley gets it done when others can't. That's all I can say. I mean, look at the final score right here, 41-24, man.
I mean, yeah. I'll give him. Look, shout out Humphrey, man. I ain't gonna dog on the quarterback, man. Shout out him, man. Black quarterbacks making it happen, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. But I mean, yeah, no, this was just not a good game from the Packers either. Josh Jacobs had a terrible showing this game. Christian Watson actually put up a great stat line: 5 receptions for 113 yards and a touchdown. Really, I think we talked about last week a little bit about the Packers wide receiver room troubles and their mishaps in their identity, but Christian Watson might be their one moving forward. The dude's really explosive. I mean, you have Matthew Golden, who they drafted in the first round, but Christian Watson's been their guy, man. He's been putting on for them. I mean, Tucker Kraft, when healthy, is a great tight end. Actually, he's one of the better young tight ends in the league. Probably one of the best, actually. But I mean, the way I feel about this game moving forward, the Steelers are a must-win next week. Do I think it's going to happen? 50. And that's me being optimistic.
Where's the game at?
I believe the game next week against Pittsburgh is actually in Pittsburgh. Yeah, so I don't feel great about that. But I will say this is one of those games in the Week 18 that we talked about that's extremely important. We have a few games like that.
A few games, man. Week 18, man. Week 18 is prime time, and I think you should feel very confident about the Ravens getting the job done against Grandpa Rodgers and company, man. You'll be all right. He's gonna be taking, Aaron Rodgers. He's like, look, this is a long season, man. I've actually been healthy for most of the season. I need a break. Therefore, he needs to get down to Africa or wherever
let's
he's
see some Mason Rudolph action this game, huh?
Hey, Mason Rudolph.
So
Shout out
here's
Christmas.
here's the interesting games from yesterday that have led to another Week 18 important matchup. The
Maybe today.
Buccaneers lost to the Dolphins. We're going to cover each of these individually, but we're going to be relatively fast because I feel like there's not much to say. This conference is very weak, like the AFC North. The Dolphins beat the Buccaneers, and the Seahawks beat the Panthers, which
I called that.
there is one game here which I did not think was going to be the upset. I did not think the Dolphins were going to beat the Buccaneers. I thought the Buccaneers were going to beat the Dolphins. The battle of Florida, partially. I mean, Jacksonville has the North on lock, but South Florida's pride was on the line here between the Dolphins and the Bucs, and they are both equally ass cheeks this year. So, if we look at this game, Quinn Ewers, which should be in college right now, but I digress. He put up a solid.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
I mean, now he's starting, so I mean, good for him. But 14 for 22, 172 yards and 2 tutties. Love it for the guy. Baker Mayfield, though. This is going to be what we talk about here. 33 for 44, 346 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 picks. Not a great showing from Baker. Not his best.
Baker the pastry chef, as we call him, man. He's throwing apple turnovers out there, and he threw a couple more for the holiday season. He's like, you get a pick, and you get a pie, and all these other things. He was turning into Oprah Winfrey this whole season.
A polarizing story of this year has been Bucky Irving. He was missing time earlier in the season for off-the-field issues. No one knows what those were to this day. They have kept it private. But ever since he's been back, he's been a shell of his former self. 9 carries for 19 yards today. What the hell happened?
Hey, man. I either think, when it comes to off-the-field stuff, there's only a handful of things that could have been going on. Missing meetings, late to practice, things like that. And, I looked it up. It says mental health struggles. That's just a cop-out ploy to be like he actually did something and whatnot.
It's gotta be baby mama drama.
There's got to be something like that, man. There's something going on, Bucky. Whatever you're dealing with at the crib, man, think about them. Think about your money, man. You got to have the money on your mind and your mind on the money and the eyes in on the prize, man. I don't think you in your second contract. I think you still in your first contract, your rookie contract, coach.
Still on
So
his
you
rookie
got
deal.
to get it together, Bucky. You was one of the most highly touted running backs coming into the season. Everyone's a lot of people's RB1s for their fantasy
Oh
teams,
yeah,
and
a lot.
you got to think about your personal fantasy team. Whatever's going on at home is going on at home. I don't know if it's family issues and whatnot, that this, that, and the third, but you got to put it together for the second contract, man. And it's sad, you know. We don't know what's going on. It says reports indicating personal issues and the loss of a friend added to the pressure, but he eventually returned to practice. So, I hope things are good at home with what's going down, but your friend would want you to put it together as well, man. So get it together. But the Bucks definitely, y'all are. It's sad to be doing y'all fighting with the Panthers on who can be the worst team in the playoffs. I don't have confidence in neither one of y'all. I'm a Panthers fan too, by the way, and it's just the expectations are just dwindling and dwindling. Baker, he was one of my favorite players last year, and it's just I hate to see this happen to you, man. But it's just sad to see both these teams do not deserve to make the playoffs. Whoever has a home playoff game, enjoy that because it will be your last of the season.
We hope everything is okay in Bucky Land, which, by the way, I love Bucky Irving's name. One of the coolest names, I think, in the NFL. Really random note. But, I really do hope everything's okay for him. He had such a great rookie year last year, and there's more promising games for him in the future, assuming that he gets his mental health together, which obviously it's extremely important. Hope the best for the guy. But this was just an overall upset, man. Like, the Dolphins really didn't have anything to prove from this game other than that they're not as bad as everyone thinks. But even then, they're still pretty damn mediocre. I mean, Mike McDaniel might have saved his job
He did.
this
I was
year.
about to say that. He saved
He
his
might
job.
have saved his job, but I don't like the outlook for either one of these teams, man. I mean, actually, I rescind that statement. The Buccaneers have a great outlook because they have good young talent. They have a solid defense, and they have one of the most promising young receivers in the league with the name of Emeka Egbuka. I think that, when they drafted Egbuka, I was so confused by that decision. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and they just took Jalen McMillan a year ago, not too long ago. So when they take Egbuka, I'm in my head like, okay, they took a really talented guy, but was that really the need? Turns out it was. Egbuka has been great this year. I mean, he's probably going to win. He's up there for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
He's been very solid. He's very talented. I mean, there's always that conversation of out of those Ohio State receivers out of the last few years, who's the most talented? You got Egbuka, Olave, Harrison, JSN, but he's that dude balls out, man. And I think that the Buccaneers have a great outlook in the future. They just need to get it together, and the team has been derailed with injuries all year. They need to get healthy, and they just need to come back next year, and they need to stunt on these hoes, man. But let's take a look at the Panthers Seahawks. This was actually a very slow game for like the first half. I'm pretty sure it was field goal to field goal for a really long time, and yep, and I was right. It was 3-3 going into half, but then the Seahawks just completely brought the cat out of the bag, man. Sam Darnold didn't necessarily have a great game. He went 18 for 27, 147 yards and a touchdown, but he got it done. He did it. The real star of this game was Zach Charbonnet, which, it wasn't Kenneth Walker this time. Zach Charbonnet for rushing yards went 18 carries, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and was just punching it in the end zone like he was punching a ticket to glory. I mean, this guy was balling out, dude. And the running back room in Seattle is a very odd one because K9's an RB1, Charbonnet is clearly an RB1. And going forward, I'm really interested to see what they do here because if you look at the Lions, David Montgomery's on the verge of leaving that team. There really only can be one running back one. You can't really do a split, in my opinion. If you do a split, you need to have it be like Cam Scatterbo and Tyrone Tracy, where you have a receiving satellite back and then a complete bruiser. Demont and Jameer have similar play styles. I mean, Demont's more of a goal line, bruiser, but he's been showing a lot of disinterest in returning to the Lions recently, if you've been paying attention to social media. And I think there's going to be a very similar situation brewing in Seattle with this team because Charbonnet's younger than K9, but K9's still very explosive when healthy. I think both of these these running backs, it's really a lose-lose for their stat lines because, I mean, they're on a great team, but
It's gonna take someone. Yeah, it's gonna take someone to take a sacrifice in the pay cut, and that's not happening. I mean, K9 got his money. I think maybe I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about that, but it's going to take somebody to make a sacrifice or the team to make a sacrifice. All those things could be true or it could happen, but then, Sam Darnold just got his money. So it's about a money thing. Just Smith-Njigba got his money. So I just don't think there's enough to go around, and how they usually do is they're going to pick the younger guy if they're kind of 50-50. So
Absolutely.
I like both running backs. If they win a Super Bowl, maybe they will kind of make a team-friendly deal. Who knows? I don't see that happening with running backs because their lifespans are very short. So you should not take a pay cut for any team. But
So
I think go
it
ahead.
does say right here, sorry to cut you off, but I'm reading an article. Seahawks star running back Kenneth Walker doesn't hide what he wants in 2026. He was asked directly about it, and he said, "This is my last year. I would always want to be somewhere that thought of me first and brought me in. I love it here, and this is a place I would want to be."
Enough
But
said, man. He said, "Pay me."
he said, "Pay me." He said, "Pay me." Will that happen? We'll see. Because
We'll see. But
players,
Charbonnet, it's his second year. It's Charbonnet's second year, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
So I think they could pay him. They don't have to pay Charbonnet for another 2 years. They have to do one of those incentive-based contracts. Now, will he accept that? Who knows? But I think that this goes more of a testament to Seattle's running backs, coaches, and developments and their philosophies rather than anything. I mean, they're good players, and you can't just put anybody in there and produce. But I don't know. We'll see it just shows what kind of people they are what people they are. They're good people, I'm sure. But it shows what they value more. The big extra dollars or potentially winning Super Bowls, because you want to be a good running back on a shitty team or a pair on a quality team that has a chance to make the playoffs in the Super Bowl each year.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this, getting back to this game, the Panthers just did
Trash.
not look good today. The
Trash.
Panthers are an intriguing
Garbage.
team because now the Panthers and the Buccaneers are in a situation where whoever wins next week goes to the playoffs. I personally think it's going to be Carolina. I'm actually rooting for Carolina. I think
Really?
they
Why
need
do you think it's going to be Carolina?
I think that the Panthers have more momentum going into this game than
Really?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, you got to think of it like this. The Buccaneers season, if you look at it from a general lens, has been injury riddled and more so has been on a downward trend. Carolina started out in a downward trend, but then they've been going up fast. Carolina has been one of the most fun teams to root for this year, being just the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers had this notoriety, this known stigma of being a terrible franchise, terrible team, but now all of a sudden they don't look that terrible. They look pretty good. All right, and
I look mid, but yeah.
I ironically say that they haven't been amazing this year. They're 500, but they're on the verge of winning their division, which is a big deal for a team that was known as the laughing stock in the NFL for years.
Okay, maybe not laughing. You putting too much hot sauce on the Panthers chicken with the bad team for me.
They were a laughing stock. I think that they were
Maybe it
at
just
least.
hurts a little.
I mean, the Jets are the worst, but I mean the Panthers are right down there for the Titans.
I can think 5 more teams that's worse than the Panthers franchise. I mean, you got the Jets, the Giants, the Bears have been more of a laughing stock than the Panthers in the last several years. Outside of this year,
I
the
mean,
Saints and the Raiders.
yeah, but I mean, I feel like a few of those are kind of equal. Bryce Young put up a complete stinker last game.
True,
14
true.
for 24
I ain't giving them
completions, 54 yards and an interception. Just complete dog water
Yeah.
from Bryce Young.
Terrible.
No
Don't
one on
believe
this
in him.
game really did anything significant. Bryce Young actually had a rushing touchdown, ironically. But he this
I don't
is
believe in Bryce at all, man. I've
You
been
don't.
saying this. I don't believe in him, man. I've seen enough. I've seen when he got benched last year. I saw him as a rookie. The way he plays, he's playing a lot better this year. He's playing a lot better, of course. But I just feel like as a number 1 overall pick, when I watch you, you gotta show that you a number 1 pick, and I just don't see it. If you watch him play, very lackadaisical. Maybe I was just used to Cam in Carolina, but very lackadaisical, very nonchalant, very just not got that grit. He ain't got that grit, is what I'm trying to say, basically. I don't see the grit in him. he got to show it. He got to show me, man. It's his third year. By your third year, you got to be doing something, man. And he ain't really done nothing. He's had a better season, but his stat line ain't nothing to drool over, okay? Like, it's just not. He
It's
barely.
nothing to drool over, but I will say this. I've seen improvement in Bryce Young, and I do
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
future where he's solid. I don't think he's as bad as you're making him out to be.
Maybe because I have these high expectations.
Maybe you do, because I think Bryce Young this year has actually been pretty okay. I mean, he's had a few really good games, and there's been games where he has shown flashes of greatness. They finally got Territor McMillan in there to help as his one. You know, they have Rico Dowdle's been great, and Chuba Hubbard's solid too. But Bryce Young has been finally given a solid head coach, a solid scheme, and in this scheme, he's not doing bad. I mean, yes, the Panthers are 500, but I actually really like Bryce Young moving forward. I think he's actually going to prove a lot of people wrong. And I think it is at this point right now where he might be considered a bust, but he can easily flip that around, and I think it starts possibly next week. If they win against the Buccaneers, and God forbid the Panthers pull off a playoff upset, all of a sudden, Bryce Young looks solid.
It's not happening. It's not happening, Coach. Look, all I'm gonna I don't see the Panthers doing, but look, all I'm gonna say is this: it's tough. I don't like comparison too much because it's the thief of joy and whatnot. But when it comes to the Panthers in particular, you have to just if you was a Panthers with them and you was seeing what was going on by Cam's third year, and you see Bryce Young's third year, it's just hard to kind of like. I mean, Cam Newton, I believe his third year they were 12-4, his third year. Made the playoffs, lost to Seattle, of course, but they were 12-4. The team had high promise, high hopes. He looked like a number one pick. Bryce Young's third year, they are 8-8 so far. This man is 8-8. He's missed two of those games, so he's really, I guess, 8-6. So two of those losses don't count on him. So I guess I'm helping his case in that manner. He has 21 touchdown passes and 9 picks. 21 touchdown passes and 9 picks, not counting his rushing stats. But that's very kind of like pedestrian. Now, I guess I'm not helping it either because I'm looking at Cam's stats. And it's kind of similar his third year, 24-13. But that Cam Newton's a rushing quarterback too, so he had a lot of rushing yards. My point was the record. He was leading them to wins. Bryce Young, the wins, ain't really been there. No, Cam didn't take off till his fifth. He had one really, really good season, and that's kind of like what he's known for. But
Yeah, because I was gonna say Cam was known for that one really good year, and Cam had a great team around him that year as well. But at the same time,
Cam never had a receiver like McMillan. Outside of Steve Smith for like 2 years, his rookie and second
Steve
year.
Smith.
But that was his rookie year, though. It was his rookie year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Cam Newton always had to do more with less, and that is definitely a theme with the Panthers, and that's going to be a theme with Bryce Young moving forward. But nonetheless, we have an interesting matchup here. We have the Buccaneers versus the Patriots. I mean, the Panthers, excuse me, in an important Week 18 matchup where, truthfully, I don't really know who's going to win, but I'm still taking the Panthers.
I'll take the Panthers too, man. I can't go against them. You know, Bryce got to be better than Baker, the pastry chef, and we'll see what's popping with there.
One of them apple turnovers, man.
Apple turnovers, man, for New Year's Day as well. And so we got the other games and whatnot. Saints Titans, that was irrelevant.
Actually, there is one thing I do want to say about that one. An important thing.
Don't say nothing about the quarterback, please.
Come on! How do you know I was going to go there? Tyler,
you've been watching old boys' Instagram videos too much.
Dude, Tyler Shuck, my guy from Louisville, watched him all in college. 222 for 27, 333 yards and 2 tutties, no interceptions. Tyler Shuck's lighting it up. I love this guy going forward. Cam Ward had a solid day too, actually. 21 for 40, 251, and 2 touchdowns. I think this game, we're not going to talk about it long, but the message here is that these are 2 promising young quarterbacks, and I actually feel very good about both of them going forward. Including Shuck.
Cam Ward, maybe. But Shuck, he still got something. Like I said, maybe. Chuck, Duck, you got to prove it. He played the Titans. All his big stat games are against inferior, very terrible teams. I mean, he had 300 yards passing against the Titans and the Jets. Like,
That's true.
you got to do
I will
something
give you. I
against
will
those
give you that. That
teams.
is true.
Like, come on now, coach. We got to, what's going on here? Are we getting. I just don't want you to get this false hope for your. I know that's your quarterback. That's your
That's my
quarterback.
guy. And all I'm saying is it gives a positive light, a positive direction for these guys' futures. I won't touch on it anymore. Let's quickly discuss the Jaguars Colts. I watched this game. It was really a shitty game. I mean, both teams did not look good in Indianapolis, but I'm surprised the Jags took it. Cam Little on the field goal to save the game, to seal the game, to end the game. The Jaguars are 12-4 and have had the best year they've had in quite a long time. The Colts have been eliminated from the playoffs, and what was originally a roller coaster start, just complete high. Daniel Indiana Jones balling the fuck out on his revenge tour with the Colts, coming off of a crappy year with the wasted potential of Anthony Richardson, are now out of the playoffs, even after getting Sauce Gardner, which, by the way, is still a crazy trade. I cannot believe the Jets got rid of Sauce Gardner. They're a terrible franchise. But let me just say this. It's been a good run for the Colts. Injuries are the complete reason why this team's out of the playoffs, and y'all will be back next year. But kudos to the Jaguars.
Facts, man. Sad tale for the Indianapolis Colts. But hey, I guess you guys are right where you thought you would be, and that's 500 at the beginning of the season. Better luck next year.
So the next game we got here is pretty important for me. The Steelers completely sucked donkey balls against the Browns. And let me just say this, man. This has been a moment I've been waiting for. The Cleveland Browns, baby. Those fucking dogs, bro. Dude, I love how they have the Dude White sponsor in their stadium. Awesome branding, man. But let me just say this. The Browns looked solid this game. Shadur icing out his wrist, bro. Putting the rollie in the Steelers' face, letting it do what it do. 13-6, and Aaron Rodgers didn't throw a single touchdown. This team didn't get a single touchdown. My guy, Chris Boswell, one of the most consistent kickers in the league, went 2 for 3 today. Actually missed a field goal. This was just a crappy showing from Pittsburgh, and this gives me confidence as a Pittsburgh hater that the Ravens can do something. Shout out to the Browns for doing something this game. Even though Shadur didn't look great, they still won, which is important.
Yeah, they took care of business, man. His pops was at the game as well, and
Sir Dion?
yeah, he was at the game, and the Browns. I knew this game was going to be close. It's always close. With the Browns, at the end of the season, always play really, really, really tough. If you watch football, you know that.
Exactly, and just going off what you said, the Browns are a team that I think don't. It's one of those teams where their record does not reflect the team. Myles Garrett's a beast. Is Chardavius Ward still a Brown? Yes, Chardavius Ward is still a Brown. I mean, their defense is rock solid, and they have a really good rookie on defense. I don't remember his name, but I remember watching his clips. He is phenomenal. On offense, we've talked about Shadur. Quarterback troubles have been this team. Stefanski's a pretty solid coach, in my opinion. I think the Browns are one good quarterback development away from being a playoff team consistently. This team is a gritty team, and I always love watching them play. They're tough.
Yeah, no, the Browns are fun to watch, man. I think Shadur needs to stop with the turnovers. He turns the ball over every single game. But if he just controls that, the line gets a little bit better. If they need to draft offensive linemen, protect him better, and he'll be good to go. It was Carson Schweischinger, the linebacker. That dude is nice.
That's who I was referring to. Guy's an animal.
He's nice. Judkins, he's nice as well. So
Judkins is one of the most interesting rookies from this year. I think he has a case to win Rookie of the Year. He's been pretty solid, and this has been a very good running back class. Him, Omarion Hampton, and a few others. I mean, Cam Scadaboo. This has been a great running back class. Jonty is a great running back. The Raiders are just terrible. But, I think that Quinshon Judkins has really managed to stand out above the rest, especially his competition, Trevion Henderson, who has shown great flashes. But I digress. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be a staple on this team, especially after that tragic Nick Chubb injury we had a year or two ago.
Yeah, facts, man. Judkins is picking up where Chubb left off, and he's running rampant, man. And Harold Fannin Jr., man. They got a nice squad. Just get some offensive linemen, man. Get some offensive linemen. Your defense is solid. Keep stacking that. Get a wide receiver and get rid of Judy, and y'all will make the playoffs.
Nah, don't get rid of Judy. Just get in another receiver. I think
He's
Isaiah
there.
Bond, if they could develop him, could be solid. I think Judy is a solid 2 or 3. He's just not a 1.
He's just a head case. Like the thing is, I don't think he
Yeah, a little.
brings like morale, positive morale with the team needs. Like, look what happened in Denver. Why'd they get rid of him? It's not because of his talent. It's because of his attitude. You bring that with a rookie quarterback, and you saw the way he was talking to Shadur and whatnot on the sideline a few games back. I just don't like it. I think Judy has to be with a veteran QB that will keep him in check, not where he's the veteran wide receiver with the rookie court or with the young quarterback. And they saw Judy with Nix, and they're like, we can't have this dude around Bo Nix. And look what happened when Judy left.
Yeah,
Like, it's enough
enough said.
said. I just think
Enough
it's
said.
addition by subtraction, and you got to get Judy up out of there, use him as trade capital, and trade him to a team like, I don't know, the Bills maybe. I think he would be fine with the Bills, you know?
I think Jerry Judy would be a smash hit with the Bills, actually.
Yeah.
That's exactly the type of player they need. But speaking of the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills.
Bills.
12 points today. Lost to the Eagles 13 points. This was an important game. The weather was terrible. I watched the game. Horrible, horrible weather in Buffalo. Like just rain, freezing. You didn't want to be at this game. But let me ask you, DeAndre, what were your thoughts? Because now these two teams are tied. I mean, they're in opposite conferences. You know, they're I mean divisions. They're AFC and NFC. But this was an important game. This was a highlight game because these are two great teams. But losing by 1 point.
That's
Wow.
tough, man. They went for a
Tough.
2 point conversion at the end of the game. They got a touchdown to be within one, and they went for the win instead of the extra point. Boom. I understand. Maybe like we don't want to waste this extra energy. We're already in the playoffs as it is, so maybe they thought they couldn't catch the. I don't know if the Patriots clinched. If they beat, I think they did clinch once they beat the Jets. So ultimately, it didn't matter. Except like if you want, 5 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed, etc. for the Bills. Like they knew they weren't going to have home field advantage, so maybe they were just like, look, just throw it at the wind. Let's just not potentially get someone hurt in overtime with this crazy weather, and that's why they did what they did. And that's ultimately both teams. They were in the playoffs as it is. It didn't really matter for either. The Eagles are going to be 3 or 4 seed. That's what they were fighting for, and it's the same thing essentially. So honestly, the Bills, I don't think it matters where they play. They're going to still do what they do. It was a low-scoring affair. They started off slow. Again, they have a bad habit of doing that every single game, starting off really slow. Not a good omen. But ultimately, I'm not going to take too much away from this game. I feel like both teams, I watched some of this and went back and looked at it. I feel like they condensed their playbook quite a bit just because they're prepping for the playoffs. They know they're going to be in it, and they're just getting ready for it. So that's all I got to say about the game.
I agree with you. The one touchdown on the day from the Eagles was Dallas Goedert from Jalen Hurts. Shout out Goddard. He's been a solid tight end this year. But I actually completely agree with you. Both of these teams are in the playoffs, and I think that there's a small chance this is a Super Bowl matchup right here, at
Could
least
be. Could be.
possibly in the next 2 3 years. I mean, these are both teams that could end up in the big game. But nothing crazy stands out to me from either of these teams. I mean, we had two touchdowns. Well, we had two touchdowns from the Bills late in the game, I believe. If I can
Yeah, it
find
was
that.
late. They was down like 13-0 and they came
Two
back.
rushing touchdowns by Josh Allen. Okay, so Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. Couldn't get the 2 point, but this isn't really a huge loss for the Bills, I don't think. I think the Bills
Yeah,
are still in the
nah.
playoffs. This felt like a great game to watch. It was an awesome game to watch because it was a great matchup, but it was just not really a game that I felt like had too much of significance. A game we're going to barely talk about here is the Bengals throttling the Cardinals. Joe Burrow came in late. I mean, not Joe Burrow. Joe Flacco came in late in the game and took over because it was just an belt to ass early on. It was 23 zip at half and a 23-7 at half, excuse me. And the Bengals just completely throttled the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 3-13, the Bengals are 6-10, and both of these teams have the Cardinals don't have an identity. The Bengals have a really bad identity. And I think that this was just a completely worthless game today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it was not really much to say from it. Neither of these teams would have got anything except a higher draft pick, and
Uh,
that was about it. And
Although,
to put us some stats, I guess.
shout out Chase Brown, 22 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Love that guy. He single-handedly won me my fantasy championship today. So
Well,
shout out Chase Brown.
congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But I will say this: the Bengals and Cardinals both have really more pessimistic outlooks, but I hope the best for both fan bases. I'm pretty close to Cincinnati where I'm at, so that's definitely an interesting culture I'll get to see unravel. But we also had the Giants Raiders, another game that really just had no implications besides a higher draft pick. The Raiders ended up losing, so I guess in terms they might have won in a weird way, but both these teams just. I didn't even really watch this one, to be frank with you. I mean, Jackson Dart had an okay stat line. Geno Smith was doing horrible Geno Smith things, throwing 2 picks and a tutty. This is just two teams with terrible outlooks. The Raiders have a downward trajectory. I actually think the Giants have an upward trajectory. They have one of the most promising rosters in football, but useless garbage time. Fill out the screen in front of you game. We have one last game of today that is now over. It was going on when we recorded this, but the Bears-Niners. The Bears-Niners is over. It was 42-38 San Francisco. A really big win for San Francisco, actually, because now they're 12-4. You know who else is 12-4? Not the Rams. The Rams are 11-4. They have a chance to have the same record as the Rams tomorrow, which is awesome. The Seahawks are 13-3. This is a loaded division. Oh my goodness. The Bears fall to 11-5. However, they still clinched. This game was a complete shootout, though, from what I saw. Just Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams going at it, and the Niners pulled through. Good for them.
They pulled through, man. Shout out the Niners, man. They got the job done, and that'll be another interesting game for next week. 49ers play the Seahawks for the division title. So we're going to see what's popping with them. I'm going to go back and watch some of these things tomorrow and see what really went down in the game. But shout out my dog, Luther Burden, man. Mizzou took over the game, unlike, his QB Brady Cook. But he made up for it. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting week next week. And they're both Panthers, Buccaneers, and the Seahawks 49ers games are on Saturday as well. Which I like because I think Saturday. That will... Never mind. I thought it was going to get us the whole playoff schedule. Because I'm like, I'm going to have the playoff schedule a day early so I can plan earlier. But no, the Ravens and Steelers play Sunday night. So
yeah, no. We need that ASAP. But... we have one game tomorrow, Rams-Falcons. Should be a Rams win. However, the Falcons do have a little bit to spoil here. Will be a fun game. Really nothing crazy to come from it, though. I'm hoping my guy Drake London goes off, but that's about all I could really ask for from that game.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
It doesn't really. Week 18 is an exciting one, though. That's going to be a really fun episode for us because we just have a ton of divisional rivalries. And that's just exciting, even for games that are eliminated. Teams that are eliminated. This is just a very exciting week, and I'm very excited to cover this. But, the NFL had an important week this Christmas, this holiday. But let's look at the other big league right now, excluding hockey going on. We have the NBA in their Christmas slate. Did you watch any of these games, DeAndre?
I did watch some of them. So I watched the Knicks game against the Cavs that started at 11 a.m. And I watched the Nuggets game, and then I watched highlights, the Nuggets vs. Timberwolves, and just the highlights of the rest. Look, the NFL took over in the middle of the day.
You gotta pick your priorities, and let me start with this Knicks Cavs game. Cleveland Cavaliers 17-15. This is a sad sight to see. I thought they were going to be doing better. I think they could still pick it up, but they've just been very mediocre this year. The Knicks are 21-9. They're kicking butt. Good for the New York Knicks. I was hating on this team a lot in the month of October, as were you. But regardless, I think that this is. I think that the New York Knicks, they have a great outlook. They won the cup, and they kick butt. But what I really love about this Christmas Day NBA slate is this felt more important than the NFL slate. If we're just looking at the matchups, right, you have Minnesota and Detroit in the NFL side, Dallas, Washington, and the Chiefs Broncos, all teams that really have nothing to lose at this point, or nothing really to gain, like nothing serious to gain. Maybe the Broncos. I guess the Viking, I mean the Lions were eliminated from playoff contention, but they're already mediocre to begin with. But you look at these lineups here in the NBA, you have the Cavs Knicks, big rivalry right there, right? Because they're both great teams. Cavs record does not reflect the team's skill. D Mitch is a fucking baller. Evan Mobley is a great guy, great baller. You got
That was his
Darius
first game of the
Garland,
season too, by the way. So he's been out the whole season. Mobley.
but he's healthy now, and I'm happy he's back. I do support the Cavs. Shout out D Mitch. You got the Spurs Thunder, which is now a huge game because Wemby versus the Thunder is great storyline. Spurs actually pulled away with this one, 117 to 102.
Spurs beat the Thunder 3 times this year already. So.
We had a great game here from Victor Wembanyama. He had a double-double. He had 19 points and 11 rebounds. Super solid from him. And this team just looked solid. This Spurs team has some really good young players, man. Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Wemby. Like, it's coming together for this team, man. I'm happy for Spurs fans. The Spurs are a team I've always liked, especially dating back to when they won that chip with Manu, Kawhi, Tim Duncan, and Tony. It's just, it's a fun franchise, man. The only pro team in San Antonio, to my knowledge, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they are the only pro team in San Antonio.
They might have a WNBA team out there somewhere.
Do they?
Possibly. I could be wrong about that.
I feel like
I'm sure they got something else down there. Like the Spurs, they've always been, I've never really liked the Spurs too much. I've respected the Spurs, but they won in boring fashion in the past with Duncan, and I like the new Spurs more than the old Spurs, though. I will say that they're more exciting to watch now than they were back in the day.
You think so?
Yeah, Duncan, he didn't show any expression. They were very strict in regimen, and they would win in very boring fashion. They didn't have any flying dunks on the team. They didn't have anybody that had any crazy cool crossovers or moves like that. They just won very methodically and very by the book per se. So
I guess you have a point, but I mean they were still dominant as hell.
No, of course, no, very dominant, very dominant.
Popovich is arguably the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, greatest coach.
So
they just weren't entertaining to watch.
And I mean, I get that.
For me.
I mean, they now have one of the most entertaining players in the league and one of the most interesting players, Victor Wembanyama, who, is just the absolute force to be reckoned with. I mean, the guy's just, I would be scared to defend him. Then again, I'm also 5'11" and not an NBA player. But I mean, I digress. The guy's just terrorizes shit on the court. I've seen his dunks. I've seen his movement. The dude just moves like a cheat code in 2K. But we have the Rockets-Lakers. Rockets completely killed the Lakers, 119-96. Both of these teams are similar record-wise, 18-10 for the Rockets, 19-10 for the Lakers. Both these teams have keystone players in Kevin Durant on the Rockets and Sengun. And then you have LeBron and Luka on the Lakers. And these are very interesting teams. I think they're very similar in terms of outlook. I think they're both teams that won't make a championship, but they can make a push potentially. And I just think it kind of goes along with my point. This slate of games we had today was on Christmas was awesome. Nuggets Timberwolves, which by the way, this was an overtime game, 142 to 138. The Nuggets took this one, and both these teams are very hot right now. Minnesota is 20-11, and Denver is 22-8. Just a little tidbit from this game. Let's see how Jokic did.
Oh, he dominated, man. 56
yeah, this was a historic night for him.
56 points.
56 points, 15 assists, 16 rebounds. That's a record broken right there. I remember reading about that. Jamal Murray had 35 points as well. I mean, it's not 56, but 35 is quite a few points right there. We go over to the Timberwolves side. Anthony Edwards was still dominant as hell, 44 points. Julius Randle, 32 points. Jaden McDaniels, ironically, Jaden McDaniels, 21 points. This was the game of the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of implications with this game as well because these two are arguably the best two teams out of the West right now. I
Well,
think that
outside of the Thunder, but yeah.
yeah, but I could see either one of these teams potentially beating the Thunder. Low
No,
key.
definitely. I think they could beat them in the play. I think the Nuggets definitely will beat them in the playoffs. Yeah, the Nuggets definitely gonna have it in the playoffs, man. The Nuggets, they in the 2 seed right now. The Thunder are can be beat. The Thunder only have like 3, 4 losses on the season, most of them to the Spurs. But yeah, the Nuggets, I think Minnesota definitely they're still working on some things. This game kind of the Nuggets did take the Timberwolves to a 7 game series in the playoffs last year, beat them, and the Timberwolves they're still trying to figure out kind of how to get themselves all the way together cohesively. Anthony Edwards going to do what he got to do, but he's not enough. Rudy Gobert, you got Randall, you got everybody else, and who are the others going to be that's going to step up more so, on the defensive end and the little things to help Ann out. But we're going to see. But it was a great game. Great game. Shout out the Nuggets, man. Y'all got that job done. Jokic going for his third MVP, man. Best player ever.
Absolutely. And I mean, well, ever
Ever.
we'll we'll
Ever.
we'll we'll discuss that another time. I disagree. But he's up there. The one irrelevant game, well, kind of irrelevant, but we'll quickly cover it. Golden State beat the Mavericks 126 to 116. The Warriors are 16 and 15, just over 500. Oh, actually, I don't know what they are as of right now. As of this game, they were 16 and 15. The Mavericks are 12 and 20. The Mavericks completely fell apart. They were in the finals like 2, 3 years ago. Now they've just been a complete shell of themselves. Cooper Flag has finally been shown out a little bit, but like, I don't even think he's been the best player out of this class. I actually think Con Canoopel has been better, but
You think so?
I think he has. I mean, the dude's been an electric 3-point shooter. I got to see him play in college. Dude was lights out. Like,
Well, I was at a Knicks Hornets game a couple weeks ago. I got to see Con play. I saw him play a game at Duke as well. He's nice, but Cooper Flag been putting up them numbers, man. He
he has
averaging
been as
dang
of
near
late.
20 points, man. I think it's a wrap on Rookie of the Year if he keeps this up for a few more weeks.
Yeah, I'm hoping my guy VJ Edgecombe comes in and does something now. But so here's the question here, and this was the title slide that we had before we covered this. Do we think that the NBA Christmas slate? Yes, there it is. Do we think the NBA Christmas slate was better than this year's NFL Christmas slate, and why?
I think the games were better, but unfortunately the branding and everything and the hype wasn't. I remember when NBA for Christmas had commercials leading up to the games. They had different uniforms for Christmas only, and people were talking about it a lot.
And do you remember when this was kind of like a little bit of a tie-in? But I grew up a huge sneakerhead. When they would release those Christmas PE exclusives, in particular the Jordan brand ones, the KDs, the LeBrons, the Kobe's,
Customs.
dude, like
Those were lit. They don't do that anymore. So
they
it's
don't.
like
They're just the shoe game is not as great in the NBA as it used to be. Which hey, I love those Anthony Edwards shoes. I actually love John Morant's shoes, but it's just like it feels like the NBA Christmas culture used to be such a cool thing growing up. Everyone was so hyped. When KD, LeBron, and Kobe were pretty much the three-headed dinosaur that was the NBA power. And, now, I mean, there was way more viewers watching football that day. And I
yeah.
just don't feel like it was justified because this was a great slate of basketball.
Yeah, I think just the branding has went down for it. The hype for it has went down. I mean, people probably forgot there were NBA games going on because there was no build up to it. You got to have the build up and the suspense for the actual product, and the NFL did that. Netflix always brings out. They have a halftime guest. They had Snoop Dogg. They had the what's it call it the anime. What's that? The Demon Slayer, K-pop Demon Slayer, K-pop Slayer show. It's like a cartoon.
Is it
K-pop
Demon
demon,
Slayer?
K-pop demon hunters. That's what it is. They had the K-pop demon hunters come out,
I
and
did not see that. I did not see that.
it's a popular thing on Netflix for the kids, man. It's for the kids.
Okay. Okay. Not
It's a
familiar.
very yeah, it's for the kids. But they bring out all the stops, and also being on Netflix, Amazon Prime, they're gonna show out NBA. I think in order for the NBA to make a comeback on Christmas, they're gonna have to. I mean, they can't go on Netflix because that's NFL, but I mean they can, but that's just not gonna
Well,
work with two things streaming live at the same time with Netflix. But
they
I
need
don't
to
know.
make the games at different times. They can't play at the same time as NFL games. Obviously,
What
it's
they,
going to
yeah,
construct
they,
viewership. I don't think there's much control over that given the networks, but I think what the NBA needs to do is they need to add more incentive for the Christmas games. I think like making it special, like different uniforms, different shoes, and maybe like the announcer switching up who's calling the game. Make it someone special. You gotta give the viewer a reason to be excited, man. Like it feels like with basketball, it is hype and it is exciting, but it's not what it used to be.
yeah, it's definitely a shell of its former self, and I think they might have to cut down a couple games instead of five. You got to make it three games and really make those three games marquee, as in like, okay, we're gonna have a halftime show of someone coming out. We're going to, maybe say the winner, like they did with the cup, the winner gets like, you know how the NFL they give out that turkey at the end of the games and they have the whole
Yeah,
presser.
yeah, like a
Make it
Christmas incentive of some
like a
sort.
like a Christmas thing. Like I don't know, open a present. Like here's your Christmas present for the win, and it's gonna be some cool thing. Like just
Trophy.
make it, yeah, something like that to where it's like, okay, I want to watch the whole thing and see what's going down, and really just fine tune that in. I mean, I don't know, maybe put it on Hulu or something. I don't know what y'all need to do, but y'all
Actually,
need
it's
to,
not a terrible idea.
yeah. I mean,
The more everyday streaming platforms you put your stuff on, the more viewers you're going to get. But they need to change something. I still think though, if we're comparing the two, I'm still even though those NFL games were not very relevant, maybe partially the Lions game, but like I think that in terms of importance, the NBA wins this, but in terms of more fun to watch, give me the NFL.
yeah, NFL man, especially they got these celebrities doing these and these artists doing these halftime shows. Man, it's hard to beat. Beyonce last year too. Like, ain't nobody was watching no NBA when Beyonce was on Netflix. So, so I think NBA get your stuff together.
Absolutely. Shifting gears, so you brought up an interesting point to me earlier today. Nick Shirley. What do you have to say about that name?
Yeah, so definitely there was some stuff going on. Stuff going on. There's been a big story going on online when it comes to this guy who is a streamer. His name's Nick Shirley, and he is a guy who actually I ran into on the street actually in New York once, and it was just this random kid. He was putting up his camera stuff, and I was like, "Oh, like, are you a streamer or whatnot?" And he was kind of shy, whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm. I make content." And I was like, "Well, what kind of content?" "I make content." And he was like, "Oh, I do journalism." And I was like, "Cool. Like, can I check it out?" And so he gave me his Instagram and showed me and everything. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." It was a quick tidbit, but my whole reasoning behind saying that is because he goes to places when it comes to rallies, when it comes political rallies, when it comes to different things going on within more of the political state of affairs in the country. And recently, I will bring up the article right now if my technology wants to work with me. Where we go? Where we go? Where we go? Here we go. It's on KOMO News.com, and basically what happened is, I'll just read through this article real quick. Critics demand accountability from Waltz amid daycare controversy and fraud allegations. And basically, this daycare is running not as a real daycare, and they're just trying to get tax write-offs from the city. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is undergoing criticism after a viral video online raised questions about taxpayer dollars going to a Minneapolis daycare center that appeared inactive despite receiving substantial public funding. The video, released by independent journalist Nick Shirley, shows him visiting the Quality Learning Center in South Minneapolis. Shirley notes the facility, which is licensed for 99 children, has received roughly $4 million in state funding, despite displayed a sign that's misspelled learning as leering. And here's a little clip from it as well. JD Vance even quoted him and whatnot. He said this dude has done far more useful journalism than any of the winners of the 2024 Pulitzer Center prizes. When he approached the building on a weekday, there were no children visible. The office appeared closed, and a woman at the site loudly protested, incorrectly accusing him of being an immigration enforcement. The footage quickly spread across social media, drew national attention amid a wider scandal involving alleged fraud in Minnesota's social service programs. Vikings lost, and Minnesota going through. Oh, the Vikings won, I guess. Never mind.
The city, no, but the
The
city
city,
of Minneapolis is in shambles right now.
it's in shambles, man. The playoffs, the
Shambles.
basketball team lost. The team ain't making the playoffs, which federal officials say may have cost taxpayers billions of dollars. Facts. Critics argue that problems ranging from daycare funding to other public assistance programs have gone unchecked by state leadership, and that's mainly what this is about. And I just thought this story was very, very interesting to say the least. I think it's, I've been following dude for about a year ish now, and I see all the stuff that he's gone up to. He goes live on YouTube and goes to these places and presses people essentially, whether that be people selling illegal products on the street in Canal Street in New York, or he's going to a pro-Israel or pro-Hamas rally and asking them questions, and he goes in there kind of crazily. I think definitely he needs to secure himself a little more, um, and other countries too. He went to a prison in like Brazil or something like that with the most
God.
dangerous criminals in the country and tried to talk to them. He's went into crazy areas. So like I commend dude on the bravery, but he's an independent journalist. He's not licensed in anything. He's not accredited by a company. But honestly, I don't think that matters at all. He's kind of getting what I do to a degree is going to the people and getting the source right from the people's mouths. I think that it's a very cool thing that he's doing. I just need dude to be careful. And honestly, I don't agree with everything he does. He's very political. He's heavy conservative and whatnot. But um, I just think that when it comes to the scandals in the country, can label this back to sports. We can get fooled by the people who we supposed to have our trust in, whether it be these owners trying to do best for our teams, presidents, coaches, and it would be cool if we could have maybe a streamer or a independent journalist go talk to these owners of these teams and ask them these questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And that might be the answers that we all need, and maybe a way that we can have change happen in other places.
Potentially, but here's kind of the thing about that, right? And let's start with the first point before I get to what I was going to say, talking about your last point. We don't cover politics too heavily here, but I think the fact that, Nick Shirley, streamer, this is his big break. And congratulations to him because he's now going viral. But this brings out a bigger problem, right? That I think the motive here that's amazing is it shows that anyone can really expose underlying problems in the states and in the government system. And shout out to this guy for doing so. I love that, man. Like, there's a ton of corruption in this country. There's a ton of stupid shit going on. And I don't get political, but there's a lot of bullshit in the United States of America. And this guy just helped stop, or I shouldn't say stop, but expose one of the billion-dollar fraud schemes out in the Midwest. Good for him. But in terms of journalism, right? Journalism is a tricky thing because journalism is all about, getting a narrative across and exposing the truth to the people, at least in my eyes. Sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's about writing a story, which is okay. But to your last point, going up to team owners and asking these questions, I don't think is a solid proof thing because most of the time, these team owners, there's a few that do get involved. Some do it in a good way, some do it in a bad way. The good, let's look at Ursay for the Colts, right? She got involved as an owner and she did good stuff for the Colts. She's a good owner. She's involved with the team in all the right ways. But then you look at someone like David Tepper, or you look at Jerry Jones, David Tepper being the owner of the Patriots, Jerry Jones being the owner of not Patriots, sorry, David Tepper being the owner of the Panthers, Jerry Jones being the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And that's when a team owner getting involved with the team leads to bad decisions, right? We had Jerry Jones get rid of Micah Parsons, and this dude's just a delusional dickwad. But we'll digress from that. Look at David Tepper when he got involved with the Panthers. He was throwing water at fans at games. He was saying crazy things online about the Panthers. Horrible press. I think that owners need to stay out of the spotlight and let the front office do the work. Let the GM do the press. I think that journalism through the GM should be a more common narrative.
I think they should just speak for their actions because in their involvement in things and face the music because too many times they do these things, aka trade your best player Micah Parsons or trade Christian McCaffrey and there's nothing to say for it. We don't get answers. It's just, oh, they're gone. Terrible owners, but I think everyone needs everybody wants is the truth because then that can help you sleep better at night. It might not be the truth you like, but at least you got the truth. Woody Johnson for the Jets, always hiding.
I was just going to say, Woody Johnson dictating his player success off of Madden ratings.
Exactly.
Poor Jets fans.
We need I think people deserve an explanation. Just like Nick Shirley's going up to these people, asking them these questions. They're acting like the owners. If you watch the video, he's going up to them, asking them. They're running off and hiding behind these doors. But now it's time for other people to show up, and they're banging on those doors, and somebody's going to get an answer. So if you bang on these owners' doors long enough, Woody Johnson, David Tepper, Clark Hunt with the Chiefs asking them, what's really going on? What's really going on? You moving this team. We can get the answers that we want, and maybe some good change can be made one way or another, but these owners want to be the jury, the judge, the jury, and the executioner in every instance, and that turns into the whole, I ain't going to get political, but the whole king thing, no kings thing. I ain't going to touch on that, but you get my point is I just think that we deserve answers, and this dude trying to get these answers and undercover what's going on. I'm not saying these owners are doing fraud schemes or anything like that, but maybe they are, Like
there's a high chance they probably are to some extent.
There's a high chance.
Like I wouldn't think it's too out of the question. And I mean, shout out to Nick Shirley for pushing the boundaries for what content creators can do for the common people. I absolutely love it, man. And it's inspirational to someone like me who's trying to get into the creator space. It shows that you don't need a fancy tag. You don't need to have report necessarily to expose something bigger than yourself. And I love it, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, man, you don't need a badge to get where you need to get to, man. You just gotta just step in the building. Well, you do need a badge sometimes, but you just gotta. Sometimes you need the badge, but you can ultimately get your way in where you want to get in. And I think there's a lot to be learned from this, and hopefully, I see people do it all the time, including myself. We're just trying to push the boundaries a little more and make way. Not that everyone should be in this space and everyone's business, but at the same time, just get the truth out and what's really going down. Well, I think that was everything today.
I think so.
On this Sunday of December 28th/9th now. This was great, man. This was great. We got to look forward to next week coming up. We got college football playoffs and NFL Week 18 is going to be a busy week, middle of the week, and New Year's Day. So.
Of course, we will cover some New Year's shenanigans next episode. Obviously, happy early New Year's to you, DeAndre, and to me and myself. Hopefully, we have a good New Year's celebration. But this was Thoughts and Takes. Thanks all of you for joining. Comment with us in the comment section. Drop your thoughts on any of our takes. Like and subscribe, repost, all the fun stuff. And we always appreciate viewers, man. Wish all of you guys a happy holiday and a happy New Year. And we'll catch you guys in 2026.
Peace, y'all. Until next year.